All right, today we're gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna call this a meditated reaction. I wanna pray on this story and all the people that have been affected by it. So as the story is being played, I'm gonna sit here in meditation in silent prayer until it's finished. Let's see if I could do it.
On February 15, 2024, mourners gathered to say goodbye to 20-year-old Ramia Remy Griffin. Among the crowd of grieving faces was one that shouldn't have been there: Adeline Itongwa, the father of her 1-year-old daughter. As he stood there, offering condolences and sharing memories of Remy, no one knew that just days later he would be charged with her murder. The story of Ramia Griffin's death stunned the Baldwin Borough community of Pittsburgh. The young mother was found dead in her apartment, shot 12 times, while her baby daughter lay unharmed in another room. But perhaps the most chilling detail wasn't the crime itself. It was what happened after. The man who took her life walked among her grieving family, watched them cry, and pretended to share their pain. He listened as they demanded justice, knowing he was the reason they were there. This wasn't just a story about murder. It was about betrayal at its deepest level, about a man who could look into the eyes of his victim's family while carrying the weight of what he had done. Before we continue with Remy's story, take a moment to hit that like button. It helps share her story with others who need to hear it. If you're new here, subscribe to join our true crime community, where we bring awareness to cases that deserve attention. I want to hear your thoughts on this case. Have you ever encountered someone who appeared to grieve publicly while hiding a dark secret? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your stories might help others recognize similar patterns in their own lives. Also, turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. This channel covers important cases like Remy's twice a week, and each one carries lessons that could save lives. The more we learn from these stories, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Ramia Remy Griffin lit up every room she entered. Her social media posts captured a young woman who radiated joy, often dancing and laughing with friends or sharing moments of her daily life. Those who followed her noticed her authentic approach to sharing both the highlights and challenges of her journey. Friends described Remy as someone who spoke her mind, but always led with kindness. Her Instagram stories frequently featured motivational messages encouraging others to chase their dreams, mixed with playful clips of her trying new makeup trends or sharing fashion tips. She had a particular talent for connecting with her audience through honest conversations about navigating life as a young adult. Her posts weren't filtered through rose-colored lenses. They showed real life, complete with its ups and downs. Whether she was celebrating small victories or discussing her struggles, Remy maintained an optimistic outlook that drew people to her. Her comment sections were filled with supportive exchanges between her and her followers, showing how she built genuine connections even through a screen. At just 20 years old, Remy embraced motherhood with remarkable dedication. Her 1-year-old daughter became the center of her universe, and her social media captured countless precious moments between them. From matching outfits to bedtime stories, every post showed a mother deeply in love with her child. Despite her youth, Remy approached parenthood with maturity beyond her years. She balanced work and childcare, often sharing honest discussions about the challenges of being a young mother. Her daughter's milestones, first steps, first words, first birthday, were celebrated with the kind of joy that only a devoted parent could express. Friends noted how becoming a mother changed Remy's priorities. She worked diligently to create a stable home in her Baldwin Borough apartment, decorating her daughter's room and establishing routines that would give her child the best possible start in life. Even in moments of exhaustion, she maintained her characteristic warmth. often posting late-night stories about the realities of midnight feedings and early morning wake-ups, always with a smile on her face. The bonds Remy shared with her family ran deep, particularly with her mother, who stood as her strongest supporter. Their relationship exemplified the kind of mother-daughter connection many aspire to have, built on trust, understanding, and unconditional love. Family gatherings were frequent, and Remy made sure her daughter grew up surrounded by the warmth of extended family. In Baldwin Borough, Remy was known for her generous spirit. Former classmates from Stowe Rocks High School remembered her as someone who would go out of her way to help others, whether lending notes to struggling students or offering a sympathetic ear to friends going through tough times. She maintained these connections long after graduation, organizing casual meetups and celebrating her friends' achievements. Her impact on the community showed in small but meaningful ways, from organizing local baby clothing swaps for other young mothers to participating in neighborhood events. She believed in giving back, often sharing resources and information with other parents in her area. The community responded in kind, creating a network of support that helped her navigate the challenges of early motherhood. Remy and Adeline Itongwa's relationship began when they were both young. At 18, Remy met the then 20-year-old Adeline through mutual friends in Pittsburgh. Their early days together showed promise. They shared similar interests, and friends noted how Adeline seemed to match Remy's outgoing personality. Their social media posts from that period painted a picture of young love, dates at local spots, attending community events together, and sharing their dreams for the future. Adeline appeared frequently in Remy's TikToks, participating in couple challenges and trending dances. To their followers, they represented a young couple navigating life together. The relationship progressed quickly, with both families becoming involved in their lives. Adeline spent time with Remy's family during holidays and celebrations, while she became familiar with his cultural background and family traditions. Their friends described them as inseparable during these early months, often seen together at local hangouts and family gatherings. The news of Remy's pregnancy came when she was 19. Her social media documented the journey into parenthood with excitement. Gender reveal celebrations, nursery preparations, and baby shower moments filled her feeds. Despite their youth, both Remy and Adeline initially expressed commitment to co-parenting their child. Their daughter's arrival on December 21, 2022, marked a significant shift in their lives. Remy fully embraced motherhood, adjusting her lifestyle and priorities to focus on their baby. The first few months were filled with moments of unity. Adeline appeared in photos at the hospital, during early doctor's appointments, and at family celebrations of their daughter's milestones. As their daughter grew, the relationship between Remy and Adeline began to change. While they maintained a co-parenting arrangement, their personal connection showed signs of strain. Remy's posts shifted focus entirely to her daughter and her own personal growth, with Adeline rarely appearing in her content by late 2023. Their communication centered primarily around childcare arrangements and their daughter's needs. Friends noticed that Remy spoke less about their relationship, instead channeling her energy into building a stable life for her child. She moved into her own apartment in Baldwin Borough, creating a space where she could raise her daughter independently. Despite the changes in their personal relationship, Remy remained committed to ensuring their daughter maintained a connection with both parents. She coordinated visits and shared updates about their child's development, maintaining a practical approach to co-parenting. Those close to the situation noted how Remy prioritized their daughter's well-being above any personal tensions, always striving to keep communication open for their child's sake. Looking back, friends noted subtle changes in Remy's behavior in the weeks before her death. Her typically frequent social media posts became sporadic, and when she did share content, it focused solely on her daughter or her work. Close friends noticed she began spending more time at home, limiting her usual social activities. Text messages revealed that Adeline's communication had become increasingly demanding regarding visitation schedules. While Remy kept these tensions private, her mother later shared that Remy had expressed concerns about Adeline's behavior during custody exchanges. She never filed any formal complaints, choosing instead to handle the situation quietly for their daughter's sake. In her final TikTok posts, Remy shared cryptic messages about staying strong and doing what's best for my baby. Friends who saw her in early February 2024 mentioned she seemed distracted and checked her phone more frequently than usual. Yet, like many young mothers, she kept her struggles private, focusing publicly on creating positive memories with her daughter. February 9th, 2024 began as a typical day for Remy. Her last social media activity showed her sharing morning moments with her daughter, breakfast time videos, and getting ready for the day. Security cameras from her apartment complex captured her returning home from errands around 2 p.m., carrying shopping bags and her daughter in her arms. Between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., Remy exchanged several text messages with family members about weekend plans. Her mother later revealed their last conversation included Remy mentioning she was expecting a visit to discuss custody arrangements. At approximately 4:30 p.m., neighbors reported seeing a familiar car parked in the complex's lot, one that both Remy and Adeline had access to. The last confirmed communication from Remy was a text message sent at 5:12 p.m. to a friend, mentioning she would call later that evening. This call never came. Security footage showed Adeline's car leaving the complex shortly before 6 p.m., but due to the camera angle, only the vehicle was visible. At this point in Remy's story, I need you to pause with me for a moment. What you're about to hear next reveals how quickly life can change. If you have any information about similar situations or have noticed concerning behavior in relationships you know about, now is the time to speak up. Leave a comment below if you think you would have recognized these warning signs. Your insight might help someone else identify a dangerous situation before it's too late. Don't forget to like this video to help spread awareness about these crucial warning signs. For those following this case closely, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. Our next video will cover another crucial case that shares important similarities with Remy's story, and you won't want to miss it. At 7:43 p.m., a neighbor called 911 after hearing what they initially thought were firecrackers coming from Remy's apartment. When no one answered repeated knocks at her door, and given the recent sounds, police were dispatched to perform a welfare check. Officers arrived at 8:02 p.m. and found Remy's apartment door unlocked. Inside, they made a devastating discovery. Remy lay motionless in her living room, having suffered multiple gunshot wounds. The scene told a story of unfathomable violence. 12 shots had been fired, indicating this wasn't a moment of impulse, but a deliberate act. In a miracle that defied explanation, officers heard soft sounds coming from another room. There, they found Remy's 1-year-old daughter, unharmed in her crib. The baby was immediately taken into protective custody and later placed with Remy's mother. The contrast was heartbreaking. One room containing unspeakable tragedy, another sheltering an innocent child who would grow up never knowing her mother. Crime scene investigators worked through the night, documenting evidence and piecing together Remy's final moments. They found no signs of forced entry, suggesting Remy had opened her door to someone she knew. Her phone was missing from the scene, but her purse and other valuables remained untouched, indicating this wasn't a robbery gone wrong. Baldwin Borough Police Department immediately launched a full-scale investigation into Remy's death. Within hours of discovering her body, detectives established a command center in the apartment complex's management office, coordinating with multiple units to process the scene and canvass the neighborhood. Officers conducted door-to-door interviews throughout the complex, gathering statements from neighbors who might have seen or heard anything unusual. The department assigned their most experienced homicide detectives to the case, recognizing the severity of the crime and its impact on the community. The first 48 hours saw intense police activity in the area. Officers secured surveillance footage from nearby businesses and traffic cameras, while others traced Remy's final movements through her phone records and social media activity. The department also coordinated with Child Protective Services to ensure the safety and proper care of Remy's daughter, who was quickly placed with her grandmother under police protection. A tip line was established specifically for the case, allowing community members to provide anonymous information that might help solve the crime. The evidence at Remy's apartment revealed crucial details about her final moments. Investigators found multiple shell casings scattered across the living room floor, suggesting the shooter remained in place while firing. The location of each casing helped detectives reconstruct the sequence of events. The apartment showed no signs of a struggle or forced entry. Remy's keys were found on the kitchen counter, and a half-empty coffee cup sat on the living room table, indicating she had been going about her normal routine. Her daughter's diaper bag was packed and ready by the door, suggesting she had been preparing for an outing or expecting someone to pick up the baby. Most telling was the position of furniture and personal items. Nothing appeared disturbed or ransacked. A bouquet of fresh flowers stood in a vase on the dining table, and family photos lined the walls undisturbed. The scene painted a picture not of random violence, but of a targeted attack by someone familiar with the space and its occupant. Baldwin Borough residents responded with an outpouring of support and grief. Within hours of the news breaking, neighbors created a memorial outside Remy's apartment building, leaving flowers, candles, and teddy bears. Local mothers who had connected with Remy through parenting groups organized a candlelight vigil, drawing hundreds of community members. Her former classmates from Stowe Rocks High School used social media to share memories and coordinate support efforts for her family. The school itself became a gathering place for young people processing the loss of their friend, with counselors available to help students cope with the tragedy. TikTok creators who had followed Remy's content began sharing tribute videos, spreading awareness about her story and calling for justice. Her followers, many of whom had never met her in person but felt connected through her honest portrayal of young motherhood, flooded her previous posts with messages of condolence and disbelief. Detectives quickly focused on several key pieces of evidence. The shared car between Remy and Adeline became a point of interest after residents reported seeing it in the complex's parking lot during crucial hours. Phone records showed a pattern of communication between Remy and a specific number in the hours before her death. Security footage from surrounding businesses provided investigators with a timeline of vehicles entering and leaving the area. A local shop's camera captured clear images of someone matching Adeline's description, walking toward Remy's apartment complex shortly before the estimated time of death. Interviews with family members revealed recent discussions about custody arrangements and planned meetings. Several witnesses came forward with information about interactions they had observed between Remy and Adeline in the days leading up to the crime. Additionally, messages found on Remy's social media accounts suggested mounting tension over co-parenting responsibilities. In the days following Remy's death, Adeline Atonwa displayed behavior that later proved crucial to the investigation. He continued his normal routine, posting on social media and interacting with friends as if nothing had happened. He even shared a brief tribute post about Remy, expressing shock at her death and calling for anyone with information to come forward. He participated in group chats where friends discussed the tragedy, offering theories about what might have happened. Several friends noted how he seemed particularly interested in details about the police investigation, often asking questions about what evidence they might have found. Adeline maintained regular contact with Remy's family, offering condolences and support. He visited Remy's mother, who was now caring for his daughter, making appearances that seemed designed to demonstrate his concern for the child. He spoke with investigators voluntarily, providing what appeared to be a detailed account of his movements on the day of the murder, expressing grief over the loss of his child's mother. On February 15th, during Remy's funeral service, Adeline's presence created an unsettling scene that would later haunt those who attended. He stood among the mourners, dressed in black, carrying their daughter in his arms. He signed the guest book, hugged grieving family members, and even helped arrange flowers near her casket. Throughout the service, he maintained a somber demeanor, wiping away tears as friends shared memories of Remy. He joined in prayers and participated in the funeral rituals, standing close to Remy's immediate family. Several attendees later recalled how he comforted others who were crying, offering tissues and consoling words. What struck many was his composure during the eulogy, where speakers demanded justice for Remy. As they spoke about finding her killer, Adeline nodded in agreement. He even approached the microphone to share his own memories, speaking about Remy as a mother and expressing how their daughter would miss her. The entire time, he cradled their child, the same child who had been in the apartment when he allegedly took her mother's life. As Adeline performed his role as grieving co-parent, investigators methodically built their case. Digital evidence began painting a different picture than the one he presented. His phone location data placed him near Remy's apartment at crucial times on February 9th. The shared car's movements, tracked through traffic cameras, aligned with witness accounts of its presence at the complex. On February 21st, just 6 days after he stood at Remy's funeral, police moved in to arrest Adeline. They found him at his residence, preparing for what appeared to be an ordinary day. The same hands that had wiped away tears at the funeral were now being placed in handcuffs. The arrest warrant detailed the charges: criminal homicide and endangering the welfare of a child. The latter charge stemmed from the fact that he had left his own daughter in the apartment after allegedly shooting her mother. During his arrest, Adeline remained silent, declining to make any statements as officers read him his rights. The calm demeanor he displayed contradicted sharply with his previous emotional displays at Remy's funeral. The arrest location held particular significance. It was less than 3 miles from where Remy's memorial service had been held just days before. As officers led him away in handcuffs, neighbors gathered to watch, many of them recognizing him from news coverage of Remy's death. Among his belongings, police found the suit he had worn to the funeral, still hanging in his closet, a chilling reminder of his dual role in this tragedy. The Allegheny County District Attorney's Office filed multiple charges against Adeline Atongwa. The primary charge was criminal homicide, reflecting the premeditated nature of Remy's death. Additionally, he faced charges of endangering the welfare of a child, acknowledging the risk posed to his daughter, who was present during the shooting. The criminal complaint detailed the evidence supporting each charge. The homicide charge was backed by forensic evidence, witness statements, and digital data placing him at the scene. The child endangerment charge stemmed from his decision to leave his 1-year-old daughter alone in the apartment after allegedly killing her mother. Prosecutors emphasized the calculated nature of the crime, the timing of the visit, the number of shots fired, and his subsequent actions at the funeral, all factored into their assessment. The charging documents also noted his apparent attempts to create an alibi and his continued contact with Remy's family after her death, describing these actions as efforts to deflect suspicion while maintaining access to information about the investigation. News of Adeline's arrest sent shockwaves through Baldwin Borough. Those who had attended the funeral alongside him struggled to process his betrayal. Social media exploded with posts from people who had witnessed his performance at the memorial service, now sharing their horror at having stood beside Remy's alleged killer. Local mothers groups, where Remy had been active, organized support networks for her family. They created fundraisers to help with legal expenses and to establish a trust fund for her daughter. The community's focus shifted from seeking justice to supporting the child who lost both parents, one to death, the other to alleged murder. At Stowe Rocks High School, where both Remy and Adeline had attended, students organized awareness campaigns about domestic violence. The school administration worked with local advocacy groups to create resources for students affected by the tragedy. Former classmates who had known them both shared their shock, posting old photos and memories of happier times, trying to understand how things had gone so wrong. As of early 2024, Adeline Atongwa remains in custody at the Allegheny County Jail, held without bail due to the severity of the charges. The District Attorney's Office continues to build their case, working closely with investigators to strengthen the evidence chain. They have indicated their intention to pursue the maximum penalties available under Pennsylvania law for both the homicide and child endangerment charges. Remy's daughter remains in the care of her maternal grandmother, who was filed for permanent custody. The family court has granted temporary orders preventing any contact between the child and Adeline while the criminal case proceeds. Support services are working with the family to ensure the child receives appropriate care and counseling. The case has drawn attention to gaps in domestic violence prevention programs, leading to discussions about improving support systems for young parents in conflict. Local advocacy groups are using Remy's story to push for stronger protective measures in custody disputes. Remy Griffin's story transcends the tragic circumstances of her death. Her impact lives on through the thousands of followers who continue to share her content, using her story to raise awareness about domestic violence. Her TikTok videos, once a window into her life as a young mother, now serve as powerful reminders of her vibrant spirit and dedication to her daughter. Local advocacy groups have established Remy's Promise, an initiative providing support to young single parents facing custody challenges. The program offers legal advice, safety planning, and emergency assistance, resources that might have made a difference in Remy's situation. Her story has sparked important conversations about protecting vulnerable parents and children during custody disputes. Remy's mother has become the voice her daughter no longer has, channeling her grief into action. While raising her granddaughter, she works with local organizations to strengthen protection for young parents navigating custody arrangements. Her efforts have already led to proposed changes in how local courts handle custody disputes. The Baldwin Borough community has transformed their shock into meaningful change. Local businesses now display resources for domestic violence support, and the police department has enhanced their response protocols for custody-related conflicts. Stowe Rocks High School implemented a new curriculum addressing relationship safety and co-parenting challenges. Remy's friends maintain her memory through an annual scholarship fund for young single parents pursuing education. They share her story, not just as a warning, but as inspiration for other young mothers to prioritize their safety and well-being. The community's response proves that even in tragedy, positive change is possible. As we conclude Remy's story, remember that your engagement helps raise awareness about these crucial issues. Like and share this video to help other young parents recognize potential warning signs in their own situations. I want to know your thoughts. What changes do you think communities need to make to better protect young parents in custody situations? Share your ideas in the comments below. Your insight could help create real change. If you haven't already, subscribe to join our community, where we continue to share important stories like Remy's. Hit the notification bell to stay informed about future cases that need attention. Remember, domestic violence resources are available 24/7. I've included helpline numbers and resource links in the description below. No one should face these situations alone.
First, you did it. That story of Remy. One thing I want to say is thank you, Father, for helping me to meditate through that video and pray for the lives and the children that have been hurt from that heinous, evil crime. My heart goes out to Remy's family. I was paying attention, but I was definitely in meditation. Whew. That was tough. Have mercy on her soul, dear Father, and protect the little one, the daughter. I know you say when we don't have our mother or our fathers, that we can return to you. So help that young lady overcome what she's been through as a baby, and protect her while she's being raised without a mother and a father. My heart goes out to Remy's family from that heinous evil act from that guy. God, you can put any kind of punishment onto him, whatever you see fit. Hopefully, he'll have time to repent and overcome his sins, dear Father. And it's very tough, man. It's very tough. This was a challenge to sit down through that, man. My heart was just it was going. It was going. My heart was just like I was weeping in meditation, and I didn't know if I could have held it, but God made me hold it and get through it. It's tough, man. Tough. But we understand that this is a spiritual battle between good versus evil. And that was a very, very evil act. And I will pray for her family. And hopefully this video could shine a light and bring awareness to, domestic violence and all evil acts, that we overcome this battle and return to the Father and do good. Treat our fellow neighbors with love, peace, and empathy. Dear Father, I say once again, have mercy on her soul. And let's pray for her family. Amen. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all liked this video. I felt like this was one as a touching video. And stay tuned, we might do one again. But until next time, stay blessed and live with love.